Okay. It's Kevin from BrotoGP here with Shelina Moreda. Disclaimer, Shelina and I go way back. Her sister is married to my best friend, and
And he helped me with my first track day ever because I had no idea what I was doing, and he always went to the track. And so I was like, Kevin, what do I bring? I have no idea. So he gave me a whole
I
list.
believe in my shitty college dorm apartment is where that went down. But I was thinking about Shelina today. We were just talking, and Shelina, when you started racing, it was like post recession. It was right when motorcycling in America really took a downturn. And so for you to get yourself to where you're at now required obviously a lot of work and determination and kind of grit and working through and navigating some tough waters and probably the toughest financial aspect for a sport that's fully dependent on finances in a way that a lot of other sports aren't. And that led you to a couple of things like being the first female to race in a couple of different countries. Um,
Yeah.
like, for example,
I was in the women's championship in Qatar. I was the first female to ever race the track in Zhuhai that I raced at in China. First female to ever race at Indianapolis Speedway. On a motorcycle, I was the first female to compete on an electric bike internationally. I just started putting myself out there because I had to find like different things that I could, little niche markets that I could put myself into to keep on growing in the sport because the sport was going downhill fast. And this was a sport I grew up watching. I had all the guys' posters on my wall, and I was like, I want to do that. And so I had to figure out, I told myself that that's what I wanted to do. I had to figure out how to put myself out there and do that.
right, and it's interesting you talked about finding your niche, and because where you see, female sports now is pretty much on a steep upward climb. You see the women's U.S. soccer team obviously just won the World Cup to a lot of fanfare and a lot of coverage. You even see. UFC, some of the most popular UFC champions and fighting are women. Amanda Nunes, for example, the Williams sisters. How do you feel you fit into kind of the rise of women's sports not just becoming like equal to men, but in many cases surpassing or being more viewed or you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. I think it's because a lot of us are not making being a female an excuse anymore. I was raised to believe that I could do anything. I was expected to go out and do work with my brother on the ranch and expected to do things just as well as the boys. My dad never made me feel like I couldn't do things because I was a girl. And so I didn't know any better. And so I'm out here doing this because this is what I wanted to do. This is what I aspire to do, and there's no reason I shouldn't be able to do it. And being a female isn't an excuse to not be able to do it. So I think that a lot of chicks these days are putting themselves out there and just going for it because it's what we want to do, not because we're trying to. Like, I'm not out here trying to prove a point. I don't think that that's what a lot of females that are into extreme sports are doing. I think it's because it's what we want to do. It's what makes me happy and makes my heart pump and gets me going. So
yeah, and I feel like every time you see, a girl, a woman perform well, do well, in traditionally male-dominated sports, it's just the next step for that other little girl or the other teenage girl who's looking to the next step. I mean, Shelina jokes about, she didn't know any better or whatever because she grew up on a ranch. I can verify that. And her dad's like the manliest dude ever. He'll break your hand with a handshake. So this no joke. But there's a lot of girls out there who maybe aren't put in that position or fostered an environment where that's something good. So people like you are able to put that. To show them that can be done, or it's not something that requires a certain gender or requires a certain way to be brought up.
totally. So, I mean, growing up for me, I watched other females that were in extreme sports. Missy Hurst was one of them that was racing at that time, and I was like, wow, girls can do it. I can do it. And my dad will say thank you, by the way, and he is. I mean, my dad's a tough guy, and so he raised me with no excuses. Be tough, and so that's just how it was. But I also love to see, I'm not doing this to pave a path for other females, but I also love to see that look in little girls' eyes when they see that I'm doing it, and like their eyes just glimmer, and it's like their brothers get pushed aside and they get brought up, and they're just like, wow, I can do it too. And I love that feeling, to know that I'm somebody that they can look up to. That's awesome. And all the little boys are like, well, shoot, if she can do it, I can do it. So it gets them into it too.
So you race Superstock today. Where are you, looking for your future of the career with racing the next couple of years? What is the plan that you're looking for now that you've kind of broken some barriers? Motorcycle racing is sort of back on the ascendancy, where the streaming service for MotoAmerica is a lot better. There's more money involved, more factories involved in racing, thankfully. And obviously now you're putting yourself in a position where you can kind of ride the tide up again. Where do you see yourself working towards the next 2 or 3 years?
Totally. Well, and that's the hope, right? Is that it continues to go up. So this year I want to compete in the stock 1,000 class. Obviously, I want to get my feet wet in the superbike class. Like, that's the goal. And I'm setting myself up to be able to go in that direction. This is the first year that I've had any coaching ever. So I've got Doug Chandler helping me out. He was out here at Laguna helping me a couple weeks ago. And just one day spent with him, having him coach me, was like such a huge difference. I've never had that. I've always had to do it on my own because I've grown up in this sport where when it was going down and there wasn't as much money in it, I didn't have the money to put towards coaches and all that kind of stuff. Had to learn it on my own, and really have struggled.
Right, just getting the bike on the grid was its own task.
Yeah, exactly, and so finally now I've, I guess, proven myself enough that I'm going to be out here and going to be doing it. So I put myself on the stock 1,000 instead of the 600 so that I could start moving up the CCs so that I could set myself on the superbike grid. So that's the goal.
Right. Any words for Nico out there?
For Nico, you could do anything that you want in this life. Don't listen to your mother. She's not right.
Yeah, Stephanie.
And set your goals as high as possible because you'll be amazed at what you can achieve. It's all the unobtainables are obtainable if you put your mind to it.
Wise words for anyone, not just super cute Nico.
But Nico is super cute.
He is super cute. Good. Chilling.
Yeah.
This is so candid. I'm not flexing my abs or nothing right now.
How's my hair?
Exactly. Braided. Anyways.
It's braided.
But you're saying about
frizzy.
in a kind of odd position.
Yeah, I mean, because you said that, sorry to make it all about being a girl and whatever, but I think that there's such a weird conversation going on about being a female in anything male dominated, whether it's the entertainment industry or soccer or motorsports or whatever. And I think that a lot of girls feel like they've got to prove something, and push for it and fight against the guys. And honestly, I don't feel that in this sport. I think that, to me, the guys have been the ones that have built me up and brought me to the next level and helped me out. When I crash, they're helping me fix my bike. Guys like you help me to learn what do I need to do to go to the track for the first time ever or to get my racing license and stuff. And so I think that, it would be nice to have more open conversation with females that are actually doing the things, not just talking about them.
Right.
Because I think that the conversation gets really, really slurred, and it makes females that are doing these things sound like we're just like, ooh, rah, hear me, I'm a female. But that's not actually what we're out here doing.
Right.
We just want to play with the boys. That's all.
It's not that you're a female that makes you want to do it. It's just that that's just a part of.
And it's not that I'm a female that you guys, I mean, you think that it's cool that a chick's out here doing it,
right.
but you're not giving me any handicaps. I don't get a head start on the grid for God's sake, I start where my times put me, and you guys will help me to get faster, but you're not giving me a leg up and making it easy on me. You know?
One of the things I was thinking when we were talking too was that what you said about people help or whatever, that even though maybe motorsports can sometimes have a reputation like good old boy or maybe more, I don't want to say conservative politically, but I just mean more
but conservative
old
generally.
school, good old boy kind of thing. But the reality is it's probably the wokest. You know what I mean? If you like fucking engines and you like pistons blowing up dinosaurs, you're in.
Believe you me, there are those guys that think that I should not be out here. There is that. And there is a good old boys club. And I didn't know about sexism until I started motorcycle racing, honestly.
Right.
My dad's a good old boy type, not politically, just in general how he is socially. But my dad is the first one to expect me to pick up the pace and battle with the boys. I go out on the grid today and my dad, you know what he tells me right before I start a race? Let it all hang out, Shelina. Don't leave anything,
Right, yeah.
leave it
Sounds
all
like
on the
your
track.
dad.
Yeah, that's my dad.
Right.
And he expects a lot from me, and I think that, but there's both things in it, just like in regular life, so you have to take the good with the bad and work your ass off. Sorry, but it doesn't matter if you're a girl, you got to work harder. Yeah, I'm not as strong as you are. I can't throw the bike around as easy as you can, but I'll work harder so that I can compete with you,
Right.
That's how that it works. And unfortunately for me, I think that the conversation that's going on takes that away from girls like me who are out here competing. I do have to work harder. I'm not equal to you.
Right.
I'm a lot smaller than you. It takes more muscle for me, more work for my muscles to move the bike around.
Because the examples that I used were gender-specific sports: women's soccer,
Yeah.
women's UFC, women's tennis,
I compete
whatever
against
it
the
is.
guys.
Right. So there is no separate league, and I've seen this conversation pop out once or twice. Sometimes in MotoGP or on the more international stage, like, should there be a women's league, right? Because that would put women at the forefront, or it would, like, kind of like Moto E's a specific class. But at the same time, then it's, by the nature of separating, you're saying that it's, inherently unequal, as opposed to
And furthermore, all of us girls that are out here competing, we want to race against the boys. If they had a girls class, I would race it because I'd like to win it. But I also like racing against the guys because I want to be the fastest, not just the fastest girl.
Right, like Anna Carrasco.
Exactly.
Won her.
Yeah, Anna's a badass.
The first woman to win a world championship at that level. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. No, and that's cool, and that's a cool title. So I just wish that the conversation was a little bit more on that level than just like, oorah, female, Like, we want
more nuance than just sound bites.
I want to set the bar. I don't want to shout like, all the girls get out here and do this. No, all the girls that want to work your tail off and really get involved in this and not have a leg up in it and, work harder to be up at the level with these guys. Yeah, you girls get in it because it's worth it.
Well, I appreciate that. That was a little more. Look, see, this is broing down right here. That's not no hover. Now let me give the Keanu.
Sorry if that's not politically correct.
Just kidding. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean,
that's just how. I think that too many people try to be either too politically correct about it or too, I'm female, listen to me about it. No, man, don't shout about it. Go out and do it.
Right. Yeah. Actions speak louder.
Yeah. You want to set an example? You want to be an inspiration? The best way to be an inspiration is go and do it.
Mm-hmm. Like you.
Not to yell about it,
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And not everybody can do it. And to me, that makes it more special that I get to go and do it.
Right.
So I'm cool with it.
Cool with it?
Yeah.
Boom.
Okay, cut.